And we are back for another part 3 of interviewing legends. You already know what it is. My guy Lobo is back. Lobo, thank you for joining us.
For sure, man. What's good with you?
None much, man. Hey, so you can see me, but we can't see him. It's all good. It's all good for all my lady viewers out there. No, you're trying to make all of us jealous, Lobo. I see what you're doing.
Like everybody just like,
I gotta ask you a question. Do you like my hat?
man, you know I don't fuck with the Giants, man.
All right. My question I want to ask you today is, do you think Lamar's staying on your team, the Baltimore Ravens?
I'll say for at least another year. Other than that, I don't know because with the way they say a lot of this bullshit in the meetings and press conferences and stuff, it's hard to believe anything the Ravens front office or coaching staff has to say about anything.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Why why do you think they haven't paid him yet?
He ain't done something behind the scenes that he's required to do to get that contract,
Ooh, allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and part of it too is the fact he's his own agent. They don't like that. His mom's his manager.
Mhm.
They would rather him have an NFL essentially sanctioned agent and lawyer versus just him being independent.
I hear you. I hear you. A next question I want you to answer. What do you think if he's not on your team? Where do you think he's going to go?
I said yeah, the Jets
Ooh, that'd be pretty
because they're
good.
like literally a quarterback away from being good as hell.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're right. Wait. So let me ask you a question. Were you one of those people that weren't high on Zach Wilson?
That wasn't how I mean I didn't watch BYU a whole lot, so there wasn't really enough to go off of, and he's playing in a weaker conference.
Mhm.
So that's one of those I have to see it for myself. Like Sam Darnold, I was like, I don't think he gonna be the one. Josh Rosen, I damn sure didn't see with him.
Why Josh Rosen in particular?
He didn't impress me at UCLA, and then that whole hot tub thing lets you know kind of where his priorities are
For
as
real?
far as is it football or is it the lifestyle. And nigga get a whole hot tub in his apartment. Yeah, he a lifestyle guy. He ain't a football guy.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Did you think that Josh Allen would become this elite player now?
Yes, the moment Stefan Diggs got there,
Mm, that's a
and a
good.
lot of it really they just the media will like to gloss over a lot of his shortcomings. Like he turns the ball over a lot,
Oh yeah.
especially in the red zone. They like to kind of stay quiet about that shit here and there.
Mhm.
That is one of those things, and it's like it's cool whenever Josh Allen can run the ball, but he's not labeled a running quarterback. But when Lamar does, oh, he's a running quarterback. This is why he got hurt, even though he didn't get hurt running. He was in the pocket, but you
Exactly.
you know what the league was pushing with Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson.
Mm, absolutely. One is a runner and has a rocket for an arm. The other one has a rocket for an arm, but he's just primarily a runner.
Exactly.
Even though I would argue that's wrong. How many times has he demonstrated I can be a pocket guy? Really?
Plenty of times. I mean, hell, he's a unanimous MVP, but I
Mhm.
guess people forget that too. So
Exactly. Exactly. Just pay the man his money. I don't know what your team is doing. Just pay him. Just pay him.
they don't like to pay nobody. Baltimore, like who was it? Justin Houston was like
Mhm.
half a sack short from like an extra, was it 1.5 mil this year?
For real.
He had a sack, he would have got the bonus, and then they like counted it as half a sack because another teammate was in on it too. And I was like, that's some Ravens shit. That's some Baltimore stuff for real.
No, I hear you. Another thing I want to ask is just a couple of days ago, I was in my room. It was like 1 a.m. I couldn't fall asleep. I started watching some old documentaries, right? Just, a couple 20, 30-minute documentary. And one documentary that I watched was the brutal nature of the NFL, and these films expose it, but the NFL didn't want to They didn't want to talk about it. One of the movies, I know you know what I'm getting at, is Any Given Sunday. And another movie that had Nick Nolte in, I think I forgot the name of it. I just lost the name. But you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure what the Nick Nolte one. I definitely know about Any Given Sunday. That's a classic.
That is I Willie Beeman.
Yes, sir. You already know.
Yep. I remember showing my buddy Jordan the movie because his dad owned the movie, and I'm like, man, this movie's awesome. But you know, one thing that I kind of don't like the movie for, and we were like 14, 15 years old kids. He told me, I told him, and I said, I'm like, I don't like how dark it is. The NFL can't be that dark. And he looks at me in the eye and he goes, and I'm a movie buff. And this is the first time where he got me. No, he makes great points. I mean, where he got my attention, where he just hooked me. He said, and I quote,
Mm.
the NFL is a brutal, brutal business. It's a key word, business. They don't care what happens to their players. They care about marketing. They care about money, right? Why do you think they didn't sign off to Any Given Sunday? They didn't want that. They didn't that was originally supposed to be the Miami Dolphins, not the Sharks. But they looked at it and went, we don't want you giving us a bad name. What do you think, Lobo?
Yeah, they were the same way about was it concussion? They didn't want that out there making them look bad. It's all about protecting the shield,
Yep.
and that's just part of business. Period. Whether it be entertainment, NBA, NFL,
Mm-hmm.
just regular business. That's one of those things you got to take your emotions out of it and look at it for what it really is.
Mm-hmm. A business.
Exactly.
That's again, man. I know this isn't. I'm not trending new grounds, but why do they have that mindset? It's evil. It's an evil mindset. Why do they have that?
Because it was created by evil people. I mean, it's all used to distract people from everything else that's going on in the world. What they're trying to push with the technocracy, different currencies. So it's all just one big circus act. Think about like the WWE, how much Vince McMahon has
Mm,
demonstrated throughout his time with WWE. He doesn't care. It's all about the money. Whether it be bad decisions of booking certain people to be champions who are in their 40s who are way too old to be doing this.
mm,
Whether it be taking the title off somebody who was really pushing a certain character and they were really getting over with the crowd and giving it to somebody else. Same thing. Or if something happened, say Ashley Massario whole situation overseas, Vince McMahon really didn't care about that either. And that was probably the darkest thing I've ever read happen to a woman.
Is it that I remember you did a video about it? Is it that woman that was murdered?
Well, I mean, she was sacrificed allegedly, but this was like years after she had had an incident overseas where she was sexually assaulted and taken advantage of. They
Yeah.
went so far as to have a soldier impersonate a doctor because it
What?
was like his birthday. Yeah, it was really weird. It was overseas. The Middle East was already giving her shit because of the way she was dressed. You know how they view things with women over there. And yes, she got it. She got drugged. Number
Wow.
one. Then she woke up in another room with this one who's guarding the door so no one could get in.
Mm,
And this so-called doctor, who was his birthday, injected her with something that paralyzed her.
what?
Yeah, talking about all she could do was like she could look, but she couldn't move, and she couldn't even scream. She was screaming on the inside, but she couldn't physically scream. And then she said the so-called doctor, the birthday dude, whatever, went to town on her. And she was talking about how much it hurt and all that stuff. And she went, and of course, traumatized by all hell because of this shit.
Mm,
Told Vince McMahon about it. Vince was like, all right, don't do any more shows, whatever. Hang tight. And she told the rest of the people on the tour they just kind of went to another country and just left her there.
really?
Yeah, Vince showed no concern whatsoever. Talking about I'm gonna handle it. Vince didn't do shit because he didn't want to mess up that Middle Eastern money.
Mm, man, where did you hear about this story?
Someone had asked me about Ashley Massario, and I started reading up on that situation. And I was like, damn, like I was like starting to get pissed off reading because I was like, yo, that's like super fucked up. Like it's bad enough you sexually assaulted her. It's a whole nother thing. You went so far to drug her, then paralyze her, then do all this, and have someone guard the door, and you supposedly somehow got into the military.
At this point, man, I told you at this point I get scared, but now thinking more and more about it, you just like you said, it just pisses me off. Really, man? Really? And no, has anyone brought this up at all in the media?
Who did I see it? I want to say it might have been TMZ. I know it was like some bigger publications covered the story. I want to say TMZ might have did one on it too, but of course it's gonna get swept by real quick. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
No, I hear you, man, and it's just it pisses me off, dude. It really does. No, really, it does, man. And you think allegedly they shine these things in front of our faces, right? And I remember telling one of my close friends again, I'm like, they're making fun of us at this point. No, really, they're making fun of us at this point, man. Really. They're dangling in front of our faces. And when people like you, the intellectual, logical people, call them out on it, it's like, hey, guys, you're just making a big deal out of nothing. They're literally they're rubbing it in our faces, man. They're saying, hi, we could just dangle this in people's faces. And guess what? People like you, Lobo, will be called conspiracy theorists. But we have evidence to back it up that this thing actually happened, though. It's he said, she said. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I mean with that situation, it's more so Vince McMahon could easily make that story quiet. Like he got a lot of money, a lot of connections tied in with the media. Obviously, he can make that story just go quiet, go hush. So it's not even so much if someone gets labeled a conspiracy theorist as it is. It's facts. It's out there. You can look it up. It's just never got highlighted. If it was in this day and age when this whole thing popped off, like in the Me Too era, whole
Mm-hmm.
nother ball game. Vince
Oh,
McMahon would have been up out of WWE a long time ago.
mm-hmm. I got a question. Hold on real
Okay.
fast. A question I have regarding you brought up all these, you brought up the Me Too and the cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
Their job is to dig up old stuff. How come no one's dug this crap up and go, hey, hey, Vince, you got some explaining to do. What happened?
I think he got hit with some other stuff anyway, so it didn't even matter at that point.
Mm,
More recently, so they didn't even have to dig even further. Which they could dig way back if they wanted to. The stories we probably never even heard of unless like on some wrestling podcast, some wrestlers was comfortable talking about this one time whoop whoop happened and told they side of the story what really happened or something like that.
no, I hear you. No, I hear you, man. No, I hear you. I want to shift gears real fast. I just got done when I was working out at my boxing gym. I just got done watching your video about this movie that you watch. It was horrible, called Blood Sacrifice. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And besides the interview being hilarious, when you basically ripped it a new, basically talking about, first off, the acting is terrible. How bad was he acting?
Boy, like you know how bad like a straight to BET movie is with the acting.
Ooh,
Imagine like 5 times worse.
ooh.
Yeah, the only ones who I would say like they played their role and they acting wasn't bad was Omar Gooden because he experienced enough. He was in Baby Boy, plenty of movies he got experience.
Mm,
And what's his name? DeAndre Bonds who plays Scully in Snowfall. Those are the only two who are actually good at acting. Everybody else, the main character in there who got hoodwinked and fuck it, sexually assaulted into the deal,
mm,
terrible actor. Everybody else terrible actor.
mm,
Like you can tell, hey, you probably haven't been in any other movies, or if you have, they've all been on Tubi. Like it was bad.
mm. No, I hear you. And really hearing you talk about it on a much deeper note, the symbolisms in it, the evil symbolisms in it. Part of me, when you're breaking it down, I'm sitting back and going, if this was a successful movie, wow, people would be talking about it more, but it wasn't a successful movie. The fact that it even got made over actual passionate projects is mind-boggling to me, really. Why is it that allegedly literally they love all these horrendous acts, but they're willing to go, hey, by the way, you want to make a movie about this horrendous act? Go right ahead. Why do they do that?
They have to tell you the truth in some way, shape, or form. And it's easier to show it as fiction versus something that's, if they said this on the news and people lose their minds, people believe the news is true. Because they basically got everything backwards. The shit they put on the news is bullshit. And then the stuff they put on the TV shows is the real shit, for the most part.
Yeah. It's no, really. That's just every day I'm looking at my recommendations, a new video of yours that I've never seen has popped up. And the one video that I want to show my friends eventually is again, I don't know why I keep going back to this. You know where I'm getting at is the undeniable proof that sports are rigged. One video that I watched was the NBA and magnets, right? And
Mm-hmm.
somebody said, well, hold on. Well, you brought up like, oh, I know what you're gonna say. Oh, that's just physics. I dare you to physics here. You know what?
For real though, like you just can't explain the ball just sitting on the top of the rim or on the middle just like that for no reason. It's supposed to bounce because
Mhm.
that's it's a basketball. It's supposed to do.
That's a good point. That's a good or even oh my goodness. This video I saw way before I saw the NFL being rigged part about John Cena's, monologue was the one with the NBA in magnets. But here's the thing, you weren't the first video that I saw. It was another video about I don't know what I forgot what his name was, right? He said, and I quote, he's like, see, you all can't get past the matrix. You can't see through, the bull crap. The matrix has got you. You're telling me right now, DeAndre Hopkins does not have magnets in his gloves right now, and the ball isn't magnetized. You know what I'm getting at?
Magnetized.
Magnetized, sorry. Come on. And then I saw your video, right? I thought they were the same videos, but they weren't the same videos, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there going, there's literally a video advertising the ball and gloves being magnetized. What in what way can you not think, oh no, this isn't magnetized? Heck, Jarvis Landry, that video too, allegedly, basically showing, hey, yeah, it's magnetized. I don't know,
Almost
man.
the NFL need to investigate their gloves and make it too easy to catch. Like, bro,
Mhm.
come on, it just sticks.
Exactly.
You know what they mean?
Exactly, bro. And the NBA, that part caught me by surprise a while back ago. And even watching your video, your video now, basically just showing, yeah, no, 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 come on, you can't explain that. Well, this is physics, physics, this, man. Really? God, you funny, man.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Like that's the thing about like basketball. Like if you play basketball, like I shot a basketball hundreds of thousands of times in my life, but some of them bounces I see in the NBA, like they don't do that.
Mm,
Even on a single rim or a double rim. Actually, no, I'll say this on a double rim, you will see some weird bounces. I will say that if you outside. But
absolutely.
like single rim, man, come on.
Well, I hear you. That's fair. That is fair. That is fair. And what about, I haven't seen your video on this yet, but allegedly some of the athletes being robots. What do you think?
Mm. Yeah, I always think of like Steph Curry. I look at LeBron James, like the bigger names, not like your little lower level Cameron Paynes, your Dennis Schroeder. I ain't talking about them, but like your big names. I'm looking at some of them kind of funny because I remember they introduced this robot. It was an arm and like yeah, like I guess pieces to it too. It wasn't like running or nothing, but it could shoot the perfect three, like perfect flick of the wrist, and like they had that shit down to a science. It was like some Chinese shit. And then with Steph Curry, there was from the finals 2015 or 16.
Mhm.
Really, I had to slow it down really quick. There was like, I guess where his like tattoo is on his bicep on the inside, this thing like disappeared quick as hell. And
Mhm.
it's like he moved his arm down after he turned around and shot a shot. And I was like, oh, that's really weird.
Where's that video at? Do you have that video?
What is that shit called? It's on YouTube. I think Steph Curry. What I put Steph Curry robot NBA Finals. I think
Hmm.
something like that. It's a video of a dude recording it on his TV, and like he'll slow it down and play it again. And you got to slow it down with the actual playback speed too, because it's quick. But there's that. There's the time Kevin Hart said Steph Curry was a robot. The time Shaq froze up on TNT. Actually, the times plural Shaq froze up on TV. Let's see. The time Jalen Rose was at the NBA Finals, I think that same year, he wasn't moving, he wasn't blinking. Someone was fucking with some wires on the back of his neck.
I've seen that.
Us. Draymond Green freezing up in the press conference. Carmelo Anthony. This is the wild one. I don't know why no one brings this up. This man was whole like snow angel out there looking like a dry ass starfish. Literally had his arms out, body out, like on the court,
Hmm.
just laying there. Ref didn't stop the play at all. They let like two solid possessions go through. Like team ran back, fast break, turned the ball over, back again. They passed the ball. They running around Melo. No one stepped on him. I'm like, and he like part of him is like near the paint too. And like no big man is like stepping on him. None of this shit.
Hmm.
And then eventually they call a foul for something else. And then they finally tend to Melo like, yo, it was like a solid minute and some change. Yeah, they got some weird shit going on in the NBA.
No, you're right. Or you probably brought this up when that one guy, I forgot what his name was about to shoot, but they blew the whistle, but he was just glitching like that,
Oh,
allegedly.
Kyrie Irving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird. That was weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too. Yeah.
That is weird. Do you think that's them just trolling us?
Some of it could be MK Ultra too, because they still under two. Like Draymond Green could be MK Ultra, like he was stuck in that trance. The thing with Shaq is happened too many times.
Mhm.
And a big dude like that, and you remember he played Steel back in the '90s with Austin versus the Black Superman.
Hmm.
So yeah, they would kind of drop in hands there. So Shaq, I definitely lean towards robot or got replaced by one. Steph Curry, same thing. Like they've showed plenty of commercials where there's multiple Steph Curry showing you, hey, this man been cloned. You ever notice he come back looking shinier sometimes, and sometimes he be looking a little bit uh like toastier for lack of a better term, like think of like bread. He come back looking different a lot, and it don't make no sense.
That's fair. No, that is fair. You got to wonder, man. Part of that, you got to wonder. I hear what you're saying, dude. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. On a more, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say yeah. That was literally it, yeah.
On a more serious note, no, sorry. Shifting gears, excuse me. Me and you were right. We both picked Jacksonville to win.
Actually, no, I picked the Chargers, and I was like, you know what, Jacksonville could win this hoe. I didn't expect them to win the way they did though, up 27-7.
Mhm.
Like that's ridiculous, bro. Like I don't know how anyone could defend any of these games where teams are blowing 25 plus point leads. This especially this year when they had 33-point lead blown. 27-0 at 1 point lead blown. Like you can't 35-14 lead blown. Like you can't even tell me that's not scripted or
No,
a team is not trying to throw a game.
you're right. You're right. You're right. Can I ask you another question?
What's up?
I've asked you this before, but you're familiar with, I can't believe I'm going to say his name. You're familiar with Barry McCockiner, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. He said, because he's a troll. He said numerous times, jokingly, I don't know, like, please, NFL script writers, please be merciful. Do you think, no, do you know that there are NFL script writers?
Yes. If players are telling you it's scripted, that lets you know somebody writing a script.
Mhm.
And obviously, Goodell has a big hand in what goes on. We saw when the lights went off in New Orleans, this man was on the field talking to players. And before I fully woke up, I knew this something fishy going on. He talking to Ray Lewis a lot. I remember this was his last game too before he retired. So
Mhm. That is true. Yeah. Another question I want to ask you. I brought up, and I love the man personally. I'm a huge fan of him. I'm hoping to get him on my show. Zach Schaumler, Strong Opinion Sports. I brought him up one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in, again, I've told you numerous times, I believe in the freedom of speech. And I know who you are. I know where your heart's at. Would you he made a video, and I remember bringing this up a while back ago. He did an interview calling he didn't think sports are rigged. For the people who's like, you are a dummy if you believe that sports are rigged. They're telling me New England Patriots, that whole concept of hey, sports, how can sports be rigged? Look at the Patriots. They've gone to multiple different Super Bowls. You're telling me that's rigged? What do you think?
When I hear people say arguments like that and they automatically call someone dumb, I'm like, if you think it's rigged or if you think it's scripted, is
Mhm.
you stupid. Like I'm like, yeah, compromise. If they going out the gate and you got a big platform saying that shit, oh, you compromise.
Mhm.
Compromise. You can't sit here and tell me it ain't a little bit fixed. If you watch that Saints Rams playoff game from like what 2 3 years ago,
Oh yeah.
can't tell me that shit. So
No, you're right.
I said they can lie to them. They can lie to them. They ain't finna lie to me.
You're uncompromised, man. I love that about you. No, really, I love that about you. I love that about you. No, really. And the day where I knew that these sports were fishy, some things were fishy. It was, you brought it up, that Saints versus Rams NFC Championship game, man. No, really. No, really. The day where I found out, I'm like, they're going to throw the flag. And I know I brought up on our first meeting, I'm like, why didn't you throw the flag? That's an obvious. And yeah, you can make a valid point. Well, missed calls happen all the time, but how it's come on. Stevie Wonder could have saw that, man. Come on. And no disrespect to that legend, but come on.
That man faking his blindness, he can see. But yeah, like with that call, I didn't even watch it live when it exactly happened. I was like doing like errands or something around the crib, and I heard the announcer just losing their mind over this call. I was like, what? They usually don't. Like, sure, they lose their mind here and there for a call. I was like, all right, it can't be that bad. I
Mhm.
look, I'm like, oh, that is that bad. And then there's the kicker when you look at the referee who's about to throw the flag, and the other referee tells him, don't throw a flag. I'm like, interesting. And then
Mhm.
remember, LA and Boston played in the World Series that year. LA Boston met in the Super Bowl later on that year. And then following that, you see the Patriots Chiefs game. Was it Chris Jones got called, or no? Was
Yeah,
it D Ford? It was D Ford.
it was D4.
Neutral zone infraction or something. And it's like, how is Brady always getting into these Super Bowls? Like he always seems to wiggle his way out of shit he should have been losing in. Going back to the Ravens matchups, the other Super Bowls, like, something going on here. So I started deep diving. And then I was like, scripted. No, no wonder Brady was always winning that shit. I knew he was overrated. Scripted or not, no one was finna tell me that nigga was the GOAT.
My guy, you know me too well. I'm gonna ask you, would you be up for a private interview, or are you too busy after this?
I give you a solid 15 minutes.
All right, bro. I can I'll take what I can get, man. I'll take what I can get. And I'm excited. 2 days from now, I'm gonna be interviewing Derek, your close friend.
Hey,
No, really, yeah. If you can remind him, and I'll remind him too. I'm excited to get to know him a little bit more. I really, really am. Another thing I want to ask you, because we have like 8 minutes on this Zoom. Another thing I wanted to ask you was, have you ever been approached by like an alleged bigwig to be compromised?
no, I've gotten like, so I'm sure they bullshit like bot emails and DMs. I've had one like the whole, I know like everybody gotten this before at some point, is the Illuminati. You want to join the Illuminati DM? They talk about what they do. They run the world. Blah blah blah. They got a link to the website. Some fake. It'd be some 90-year-old woman as a profile picture. Shit don't add up. I've gotten that one. I'm like, yeah, this is fake. Blocked. And then I've gotten the email. This one, this motherfucker offered me,
Mhm.
allegedly offered me $20,000. Like, we know the league's rigged and it's satanic, but we don't want you blabbing about it, or we don't want other people to know, or something like that.
Mhm.
And here's the thing: they put the dollar sign after the 20,000 on. I was like, yeah, this fake.
For real?
This got to be YouTube bot or something. Yeah,
Dang, dude. Dang. But for all we know,
it is weird though. Such a specific email.
hmm
Super weird. Like I ain't gonna lie. I'm like this a troll. This something, bro.
hmm
Other than that, I ain't had nobody walk up to me and be like, "Hey man, we gotta do this and nah."
fair
If I was
use.
like 100K, it might be different. But
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But hey, you know what they say? Fair usage.
yeah, fair use act, nigga.
Hey, bro. Much love, much appreciated. Wait, when do you think we can get you back on here?
Shit, let's see. What's the day? 21st. Pull my calendar. What do I have? I think Wednesday. I don't think I do. You free Wednesday, like evening?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, cool. I don't know what time yet, but I'll give you a time after we done talking this shit.
I appreciate it, bro.